Good morning, it's Barbara. Looking, got some clouds, but otherwise pretty nice out. I think I'm going to be out pretty soon. It's going to be too chilly. Good morning, it's Barbara. My hair is weird. I forgot my lipstick. Oh well, this is it. Change the angle a little bit because I was getting too much sunshine on my screen. Good morning, it's Barbara. Thank you for joining me for coffee. We had a really fun Zoom. I'm sorry if you couldn't make it. I really appreciate those who came. We had some interesting, lively conversations, lots of knitting stuff, but other things too. Good to see some people who hadn't been in the last month or two, and yeah, it was really lovely. Thank you. We have scheduled the December Zoom for December 14th. Trying to stay away from the, crazy holiday, whatever. 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Same as this week. Maisie thinks she's seeing something on the other side of the fence, so she got Pearl to come out with her too. So we will have some barking. But welcome to my world. Hold on. She's in charge of keeping all the monsters far away from us. Anyway, we had a good time. Oh, if somebody who was there can comment the name of that pattern that had the mosaic base of the sweater and the flowers on it. I forgot to write that down. I would love to know what that pattern was. And if you comment, then other people can find out too. Thank you. I should take notes. But I did get a lot of knitting done. Danielle knit a whole Christmas ball. The whole, she finished one and started the new one while we were talking, and she finished the new one before we were done. It was so cute. Maze, puppy. Yeah, I know. Hold on. I don't know. I told her I'm doing my vlog. I don't think she cares. So last night, and for the last few nights, I've been sitting in my chair where I always sit. And by the end of the evening, I have had a little bit of a headache and my eyes have felt like something going on. And I thought I was smelling something that smelled a little bit like when you have a big bouquet of flowers and they're on the other side of fresh. I hate to say it smelled a little bit like dying flowers, but that's what it felt. But it was very subtle. But I could smell it, and I was obviously reacting. And this has been for the last couple days. And I'm like, and it was driving me crazy. So the only thing that I could think of that changed plant-wise was we have a piece of our plant broke off, and I'm rooting it. And I had moved that back behind my chair onto the windowsill with the Christmas cactus and the orchid that I already had there. And I thought, well, I don't think it's that, but let me, so I'm up, I'm sniffing all around my chair. I don't, I complained to Dennis. He comes, he's sniffing all around, behind, whatever. I'm like, is it my hair? Because I thought maybe the product I had on my hair, although it's not new. I've been using it forever, and he's, no, I don't think it should, because of course I can't sniff my own hair. He says, no, I don't think that's it. And I'm all over, and I mean, it's ridiculous. I look like an idiot. Sniffing around. Well, turns out 3 days ago or so, I cleared the table a little bit so I could spread out more and work on my executrixing stuff. And so I wrapped the advents that I bought for Allison and Jason and the girls and put them over on the table next to where I sit. Well, I got Allison a spa advent. And when I opened the outside box for that, and it's got an inside, it's in a nice wrapper and whatever, I went, okay. And I wrapped it. I put the paper back in it and I wrapped it in its outer box because I knew I couldn't have that inner box in the house. Well, it turns out I can't have the outer box sitting next to my chair. 3 nights I've been like, and I think I stopped knitting early because, I stopped feeling good and I had a little bit of a headache and my eyes were. So I was poisoning myself with this gift that I'm giving Allison for her Advent. I didn't buy one for myself, luckily. Yeah, I don't know how well, it's a spa thing. I expect there's many things in there that are scented, right? Of course there are. Anyway, this is why I'm no fun to do an exchange with, because I can't have scented things. I can't even, double boxed and wrapped wasn't enough. I had to move it into another room. Oh, but I was like, every night for the last few nights, I'm like, what changed? And, and I think that's why a couple of those nights why I stopped knitting, because I was just, So Allison's getting a very fragrant Advent. All the Advents have arrived. All the Advents have arrived. So I got Jason 12 days of Christmas snacks, like nuts, different flavored nuts and things like that. He was the hardest one to pick one for. So this all started, well, very beginning, I decided I was going to get the granddaughters makeup Advents because I thought they would have fun with that. And I hadn't gotten back the little houses I gave them last year with the little drawers. Those little drawers are so small. It was hard to find 24 things, that aren't candy to put in those little drawers. So I wasn't sad that I didn't get them back, and I haven't had the headspace to do a lot of, shopping and gathering and whatever. So they weren't getting sort of this homemade Advent like I did last year. So I decided to get them makeup Advents because they both like makeup, and Samantha's like a little makeup artist. I mean, she's really gifted. So anyway, I knew they would like those. So I had gone online to look at Advents. So I started getting, of course, ads for Advents or whatever. And I don't know, it must have been on Instagram. I'm a sucker for an Instagram ad. I have to stop clicking on those. Anyway, they had an Advent, beard oil Advent. Rich has this big, although I think he recently trimmed it. He trimmed it this summer. He was doing an event and he wanted to look more groomed. But he was looking like a mountain man there for a while. Anyway, he has a big, luscious, handsome beard. And I saw this for beard oils, and Advent for beard oils. And I was like, oh my God, I have to get this for Rich. But, you can't get Rich an Advent without getting the other adults Advents. So that's what started the adults Advents, when I found this one for Rich. So I hope he likes it. I hope he likes it. So I ended up getting these snacks. Jason turned out to be the hardest one, in fact, because I just, he's a car guy. He's like doing this whole finance thing that he's very into, but these things didn't lend themselves well to Advents that you can buy. So anyway, I got him 12 days of snacks, and I hope he likes it. But I found this spa thing on Etsy that I thought Allison would enjoy. She likes to go, every once in a while to do a spa day with her mom and stuff like that, So I thought she would like this spa thing, but turned out to be very fragrant. But Christy, I got a witchy advent, and I'm very excited to see what it actually entails. But you know, if you watch her floss tube, she's mentioned a couple times that she's leaning towards a bog witch persona. Lately, she's into tinctures and a lot of things about, you know, essential oils and things like that she's interested in. And so anyway, I got her a witch themed advent, so which she thinks she's gonna enjoy. So I'm very excited to see what's in that one, to be honest. So anyway, and I have my 4 advents. All of mine are yarny, but 2 of them, one from Megan and one from Sweet Sparrow. Well, actually, I haven't unpacked Megan's box, so I'm not sure if this is true, but they each have a little something something every day besides the yarn. Now, Megan's may not, since I never got under the yarn. So it could be that it's just yarn. And if it is, I am very satisfied and happy with that. So maybe I need to unpack that box. I can start by putting all the yarns in my new advent. It's almost like a quilt, but the hanging thing from my advent that I showed you the other day that I opened. So I'll see what's in the bottom of that box. It may be that's all, and there aren't little things to open, but there are little things to open with the Sweet Sparrow, I know. So we'll be doing a lot of advent come December, and you might get sick of it, and I don't blame you. But we were having some conversation at the Zoom about what I should do with my advent. And it was a general conversation, so it wasn't just me. But Carol's doing this hat, and of course I didn't write it. I favorited that pattern because we had talked about it before, but I don't remember what it is. But it's basically a hat, a knit hat that you just keep knitting and knitting and knitting and knitting and knitting and knitting and knitting. And the lady who designed the hat, hers literally drags on the ground behind her. That's how much it's knit. But the point is, you make a hat and then you wrap it around you like a scarf. And that, I think, would be a candidate for the Crafty Toads DK advent that I got, because I don't have a lot of DK scraps, I don't have minis, and I don't have a project going on for DK. So that would be a fun thing to knit that would use lots of the yarn. And yeah, so I forget the name of that. I'll see if I can find it and put a link to that below. And but the other thing we were talking about is a sweater, which is mosaic design, simple mosaic design on the body of the sweater, but it has these 3-dimensional flowers all over it, and I forget what it was called. So somebody will remind me. But apparently it's in DK. So that would be an option for the DK for an advent knit. Now, I don't want to get too carried away with advent knits because I am just getting my mojo back and I don't want to overwhelm myself, and I'm not going to overpromise. My promise to you for the advents for December is I'm going to open them every day. I am not promising to knit them while we talk, but I will open them every day. But the other thing is the Sylvester, and I still really love that idea, but that's a big sweater and it's going to be a big project. And so I'm not making any promises on how far I'll get with that. But I think that would be fun to do with my fingering advents. So it's a very subtle color added to this sweater. I've shown you that picture, and maybe, you know, I'll show it to you again when I'm at it, while I'm at it. But we'll have two fingering. Megan's and Sweet Sparrow are 10-gram minis in those advents, and so I think those would lend themselves very nicely to this Sylvester. The trilogy are 20 grams, and well, it doesn't matter. I could just use 10 grams of the trilogy because, you know, this is trilogy yarn. I mean, I ordered that advent that obviously I didn't, you know, I was having plenty of advents, but I just fell in love with this yarn. This is Unicorn Farts, and this is my road trip cowl that I started on my road trip with my daughter after our the terrible events that happened while we were with my sister, including her death. And, you know, we were kind of traumatized, and she decided to do this road trip to Bryce Canyon and wanted to see the Milky Way. And we did that, and it was very healing to do. Gave us time together. It gave us, we spent 2 nights at Bryce Canyon, and it worked out beautifully, and we saw the Milky Way, and it was really what I needed to ease myself back into the world after that trip to Idaho. And this yarn was a big part of it. I bought this yarn while we were in Boise with my sister, and I wound it up on the first day of the drive to Bryce Canyon and cast it on in the car, or I don't remember if I wound it and then cast it on anyway. This is one skein. It's my own design. I don't remember how many stitches I cast on, but it was a divisible by 4. And I basically did a broken, really a broken 2x2 rib. I did 4 rows, and then I switched and did 4 rows the other way. So it is completely reversible. It's just a texture. And anyway, I was so drawn to that yarn, and Nancy had been at one of our Zoom calls, so I had met her, but I had forgotten. I have a terrible memory. I had forgotten it was trilogy yarn that she was the dyer of. So when I walked into this yarn shop, and this, you know, I just walked into the yarn shop and went straight for this yarn, and I just like, I have to have this yarn. And then when I said, oh, it's trilogy yarn, they're like, oh, that's Nancy's yarn. I'm like, oh my gosh, you're right, it is Nancy's yarn. But I loved it so much, I decided that I wanted the advent from her, and I got the sparkly one. So one of my 3 advents of fingering is gonna have sparkle, and so that should be fun. Anyway, you guys are tired of hearing about these. But that advent I bought for Allison is the one that was poisoning me on my chair every night the last 3 nights. So maybe I'll get more knitting done today. But I did do a lot of knitting yesterday. While we were talking, I have matched both sleeves. So I got to the place where the second sleeve matched the first sleeve. I had stopped because I have a limited amount of that teal yarn. So I took what was left of the teal yarn, and I did the edging of the pockets that have kangaroo pockets, just like a sweatshirt. And I wanted the edge of those pockets to be teal. So I did that yesterday. So the pockets are all knit, and then I took what I had left, the teal I had left, and I split it in 2. I weighed it, and I split it into 2 balls. So now I'm continuing to knit the sleeves. And as I go down, I'll make some decisions about, it would be nice to have a little bit of teal to put around the hood. So I might bail on the teal on the sleeves. I kind of wanted teal on the cuffs because I tend to get my tend to get my sleeves dirtier than the rest of the sweater, and I thought, you know, the handspun is, you know, gonna get dirty, but I may just bail on the teal on the sleeves and finish off with the handspun so I can have a little bit of teal around the hood. That's what I'm thinking. But I did split it on advice, and I had been thinking about that too, to make sure I know where I am as I'm going. So I'm continuing to work on the sleeves. I need to pay attention to the decreases to make sure that I get the sleeve to a size that I want. Sometimes I worry that I just ramble so long. Luckily, you guys have fast forward. Tired of the advents. So I'm glad you have that. I am going to go. Dennis and I are going to be going out to do a couple of errands, couple of shops we want to stop at today. And we'll do that when I'm done with my yoga. But I did my yoga yesterday. I'm doing my yoga today. And then, yeah. So then I'm gonna putter around because I gotta clear the table a little bit. The cleaning people are coming tomorrow, so I need to straighten up a little bit so they have surfaces they can actually clean. You know how that is. Or you don't. But once a month, you know, I'm forced to straighten up a little bit so that their cleaning can be effective. And it must be really annoying to try to clean somebody's house and they haven't even taken the, you know, used tissues off the table. You know what I mean? Anyway, again, ramble. So I'm glad I discovered the solution to my eye problem, and I'm looking forward to not feeling like that tonight. I'm going to work on my executrixing. I made a list yesterday of things I have to do, and my lawyer's coming back from his vacation, so I want to get him the information that he's looking for so that we can move forward. But while he was gone, I paid the taxes, and so that felt good, and I've made progress. So I'm looking forward to writing him an email, progress on, and then see what's next. Meanwhile, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna do my yoga, move forward today. Thank you again, everybody who came to the Zoom. It was so much fun. Mark your calendars, December 14th, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I hope you can come. Please take good care of yourselves. Please, please. Stay safe and stay sane.